Ada was busy tidying up the living room of her mother's apartment in Lagos when she heard a sharp knock on the door. She hesitated for a moment, sensing an impending doom. The knock came again, louder this time, and Ada reluctantly went to answer it. Opening the door, she was met with the stern face of her mother-in-law, Mama Nkechi, who stood with her arms crossed, a look of determination etched across her features. Behind her were Emeka's two sisters, Chile and Chimdi, their expressions equally unyielding. "Ada, you wicked woman," Mama Nkechi began, her voice rising with each sound. "After sleeping with all the men in this city, you have married my son and refused to bear children. You will give me grandchildren, and release my son from your trap." The words hit Ada like a blow. She found herself frozen in the doorway, struggling to find a response. The narrow hallway outside her apartment felt suddenly smaller, as if it was closing on her. "Mama, please come in," Ada finally managed to say, stepping aside to let them enter. As Mama Nkechi swept into the apartment, she looked around disapprovingly, her eyes lingering on the modest furniture and the photographs of Ada and Emeka smiling together. Chile and Chimdi followed closely, casting disdainful glances at Ada before settling on the chair with an air of superiority. Ada's heart sank as she realized that this was going to be not a very pleasant visit. "Just look at you," Mama Nkechi continued. "You've turned my son into a fool with your charms. No children, no legacy. What kind of woman are you?" Ada took a deep breath, trying to calm down. "Mama, Emeka and I are doing everything we can. We've seen doctors and..." Mama Nkechi cut her off with a wave of her hand. "Doctors? You think doctors can solve this, Abi? It is you and your evil ways that have closed your womb." Chile chimed in. "Mama is right, Ada. If you are focused less on yourself and more on the family, things will be different." Chimdi nodded in agreement, adding, "We've heard all the rumors, Ada. People talk, and they say you have been very wild even before you got married to our brother." Ada's cheeks flushed with anger and embarrassment. The accusations were both painful and unfounded, but she knew that there was little she could say to change their minds, so she just looked at them. Ada sat across from them, feeling the weight of their judgments pressing down on her. The walls of her home, once a sanctuary, now felt oppressive and cold. "Mama, I love Emeka," Ada said softly. "We both want children, but it's something we can't control." Mama Nkechi leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. "You will not ruin my son's life, Ada. I need grandchildren to carry on our name. Do whatever it takes, better do whatever it takes." Chile and Chimdi exchanged glances, clearly enjoying their mother's assault on Ada. They whispered among themselves, making sure Ada heard every insult. "You think you're special, Ada? There are plenty women who would give anything to be in your shoes," Chimdi sneered. "Women who can actually give us grandchildren," Chile added. The door swung open and Emeka walked in, surprised to see his family gathered in the living room. His smile faded as he noticed the tension in the room and the tear-streaked face of his wife. "Mama, what's going on?" Emeka asked, his voice tinged with concern. Mama Nkechi turned to her son, her expression softening lightly. Emeka, I am just here to remind Ada of her duties as your wife. She needs to understand that we expect grandchildren very soon." Emeka sighed, running a hand on top his head. "Mama, Ada and I are trying. These things take time. Time? Mama Nkechi scoffed. You've been married for years, Emeka. How much more time do you need? Emeka took Ada's hand, standing by her side. Mama, we are doing everything we can. I need you to trust us. Chile and Chimdi exchanged skeptical looks, but remained silent as Emeka defended his wife. That evening, after the family had left, Ada approached Emeka with a suggestion she had been considering for a very long time. Emeka, I think it's important that we both get tested, Ada said gently, trying to keep her tone neutral. Emeka stiffened, his expression darkening. Tested? Ada, I told you before, there's nothing wrong with me. It's just to be sure, Emeka. We need to know what we are dealing with, she pressed, feeling a knot of tension building in her chest. Emeka's eyes narrowed, his voice sharp. What are you implying? That I'm the problem? My girlfriend in university had an abortion, Ada. There's no issue on my side. Ada felt a wave of frustration and hurt wash over her. Emeka, it's not about the blame. It's about finding a solution together, please. But Emeka shook his head, his pride wounded. If you want to run tests, please do them alone now. I know where I stand. With Emeka refusing to participate, Ada underwent the fertility test on her own. She sat in the doctor's office, her hands twisting nervously in her lap as she awaited the results. Dr. Okafor entered the room, a kind smile on his face. Ada, I have reviewed your tests, and I am pleased to inform you that everything looks normal. There is no medical reason that you can't conceive. Relief washed over Ada's mind. But then, why haven't I been able to? She said. It could be a number of factors, including stress or something on your husband's side, Dr. Okafor offered gently. Ada nodded, though she knew convincing Emeka to consider testing would be a battle in itself. When she returned home, Emeka asked her about the results, his tone casual. What did the doctor say? They didn't find anything wrong, she replied carefully, watching for his reaction. Okay, no problem. But I told you you're overthinking this thing, Emeka said, his voice smug. Ada beat back a comeback, knowing it would do little good. Instead, she turned her attention to the kitchen, preparing for another unexpected visit from Mama Nkechi. A few days later, Mama Nkechi arrived at the house again, this time carrying a bag of dried herbs and roots. She marched into the kitchen, her face filled with determination. Ada, come here, Mama Nkechi ordered, setting the bag on the counter with a good thud. These are from a renowned herbalist in the village. You will drink this, and we will see if that your womb will open. Ada hesitated, eyeing the mixture with skepticism. Mama, I appreciate your concern, but I'm not really sure about this. You will drink it though, Mama Nkechi insisted, her voice broken no arguments. I did not raise my son to be childless. Chile and Chimdi, two jobless sisters, stood by, nodding in agreement as Mama Nkechi prepared the concoction. Emeka entered the room, and Ada looked at him for support, hoping he would intervene. But to her dismay, he remained silent, his eyes avoiding hers. Defeated, Ada took the cup from Mama Nkechi's hand, the bitter scent of herbs filling her nostrils. With a deep breath, she drank the mixture, feeling the burn of humiliation as much as the burn of the herbs. That night, Ada lay in bed, tears streaming down her cheeks. The pressure from Emeka's family, combined with his refusal to acknowledge any responsibility, felt like a crushing weight. In the darkness, Emeka reached for her hand, his touch gentle. "I am sorry, Ada. I just don't know what to do." "I need you to stand up for me, Emeka," Ada whispered, her voice barely audible. "I need you to be my partner in this." Emeka sighed, his own frustration evident. "I'm trying, Ada. It's just complicated." Ada pulled away, turning onto her side. The gap between them felt insurmountable, and she wondered how long their marriage would survive under this strain. A week later, Mama Nkechi called Emeka and he insisted that he visit the village for an urgent family matter. Reluctantly, Emeka agreed, thinking it was something important concerning the family's land. Upon arrival, she welcomed him with open arms, showering him with affection and praise. She had prepared a very lavish meal, complete with his favorite dishes and plenty of palm wine. "Emeka, you've been working so hard in the city. Relax, my son, enjoy yourself," Mama Nkechi urged, refilling his glass as he protested mildly. As the night wore on, Emeka felt the effects of the alcohol clouding his judgment. He was about to excuse himself when a young woman named Amaka entered the room, carrying more drinks. "Ah, Amaka, come here," Mama Nkechi called, her voice sweet and inviting. "Help Emeka feel at home." Amaka smiled shyly, sitting beside Emeka and engaging him in conversation. The room spun slightly as Emeka tried to focus, his mind growing hazy. "Mama, I should really go and get some rest," he said, attempting to stand up. "Nonsense," Mama Nkechi insisted, gently pushing him back onto his seat. "Stay a little longer, my son." As the night progressed, the alcohol took its toll, and Emeka found himself losing the battle against sleep. Mama Nkechi led him to a guest room, promising he could rest there. "Everything will be fine, Emeka," she assured him, closing the door behind him. The following morning, Emeka awoke with a pounding headache and a sinking feeling in his stomach. He realized he wasn't alone. Amaka was beside him, getting ready to wake up. Horror and disgust washed over him as the events of the previous night came rushing back. He sat up, running a hand through his head in disbelief. "Amaka, what are you doing here?" he demanded, his voice rough with anger. "Mama Nkechi asked me to keep you company," Amaka replied, her voice soft and unassuming. Emeka felt a surge of betrayal and fury. He stormed out of the room, finding his mother waiting in the living room. "Mama, what have you done?" he shouted. "Calm down, my son," Mama Nkechi said, her voice very calm. "I did this for your own good though. You need a woman who can give you children. You should be thanking me." "You think this is for my own good?" Emeka spat, his anger boiling over. "You betrayed me, Mama. I cannot believe you would do something like this." "Ah, I did it because I love you, Emeka," Mama Nkechi insisted, her eyes flashing with defiance. "Ada is holding you back. You deserve more." "Mama, I don't want more. I love Ada and she's my wife," Emeka said, his voice firm. "You've crossed the line and I won't forgive you for this." With those words, Emeka gathered his things and left the village, his heart heavy with guilt and anger. When Emeka returned home to Lagos, he was consumed by guilt. He avoided Ada's gaze, his shame hanging over him like a dark cloud. Ada sensed something was wrong. Emeka was distant, withdrawn, and it pained her to see him so troubled. She decided to confront him one evening as they sat in the balcony, the city lights twinkling in the distance. "Emeka, please tell me what's going on," Ada implored, her voice gentle. "You've been different since you came back from the village." He sighed deeply. "Ada, there's something I need to tell you," he began, his voice shaking. "When I went to the village, Mama tricked me." And then he recounted the events of the night. Tears filled her eyes as the realization of his betrayal sank in. "Wait, you slept with someone else?" she asked. "I didn't know, Ada, I swear. I didn't know what I was doing," Emeka pleaded. "How could you let this happen, Emeka? How could you let her do this to us?" Ada cried. "I am sorry, please, Ada. I never wanted to hurt you." Ada spent the night in turmoil of emotions. She trusted Emeka, and now that trust had been damaged. The next morning, she packed a small bag, unable to face the thought of staying under the same roof. "I need some time to think, Emeka," she said quietly. "I need time alone." Emeka nodded, tears in his eyes. "Take all the time you need, Ada. I'll wait for you, no matter how long it takes." Ada left the apartment, seeking solace in the house of a close friend. As she settled into her temporary refuge, she wondered the future of her marriage and the choices that lay ahead. It had been few months since Ada had left to stay with her friend. During this time, she began to rebuild her life and find strength in herself. She was slowly piecing together a future not defined by past struggles. Meanwhile, Emeka worked hard to prove his commitment to Ada and earn her trust back. He attended therapy sessions and distanced himself from the negative influences in his life, particularly the pressures from his mother. However, the calm was shattered when Amaka arrived in Lagos, visibly pregnant. She came to the city intending to give birth, knowing that the child she carried was Emeka's. When the news reached Emeka, he was overwhelmed with a mix of emotions. He was determined to take responsibility for his actions, even if it meant facing another difficult chapter of his life. Amaka's arrival brought with it a storm of tension and uncertainty. Emeka met with her, hoping to discuss the future of their child together. "I came here because I had no other choice, Emeka," Amaka confessed, her voice filled with a mixture of fear and defiance. "Mama Nkechi sent me here. She expects you to take care of the baby once it's born." Emeka nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. "I'll do what I need to do, Amaka. But you need to understand, this doesn't change my commitment to Ada." As the weeks passed, Amaka went into labor, and Emeka was there for the birth, trying to navigate his responsibilities while maintaining his focus on repairing his relationship. Tragically, during birth, complications arose, and despite the doctor's best efforts, Amaka did not survive. She passed away shortly after giving birth to a healthy baby girl. The news of Amaka's death sent shockwaves through the family. Emeka was filled with guilt and grief, knowing that his actions had contributed to this heartbreaking situation. He was left to care for the newborn baby, now his responsibility. When Mama Nkechi learned that the baby girl was born, her disappointment was very obvious. She had hoped for a grandson to carry on the family name, and her frustration was evident when she met the newborn. "What will I do with another girl?" Mama scoffed, her voice laced with disdain as she looked at the baby. "I brought you here for a son. This is just another burden." Mama Nkechi's eyes narrowed as she examined the baby. A girl. This is not what I wanted now. We needed a boy, Emeka, a strong boy to carry on the legacy of this family. Her words were sharp and cutting, echoing through the hospital room. She looked at Emeka, her expression a mix of anger and disappointment. What good is this? This is not what our family needs, oh. Emeka felt a surge of protectiveness for the child. Mama, she's just a baby. It's not her fault. Fault or not, this is not what I expected from you, Mama Nkechi snapped. Despite her initial reaction, Emeka knew he had to do right by the child. He reached out to Ada, hoping she could find it in her heart to help. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Emeka contacted Ada. Despite their strained relationship, he knew she would be the only person he could turn to. Ada, I know this is a lot to ask, but please, I need your help. Amaka is gone. She died and the baby needs a home. Ada was initially taken aback by the request. The pain of Emeka's betrayal was still fresh, and she wasn't sure if she could trust him again. However, the thought of an innocent child being caught in a crossfire tugged at her heart. Emeka, I don't know, she hesitated. Please, Ada, Emeka pleaded. She's just a baby. She doesn't deserve to suffer because of our mistakes. Ada took a deep breath, considering Emeka's words. Despite everything, she felt a deep compassion for the child and realized she had the power to change the baby's future. With a renewed sense of purpose, Ada agreed to meet Emeka and the baby. Immediately she met the baby girl, she felt an overwhelming rush of love and protectiveness. She's so beautiful, she said. What's her name? Apparently, the child hadn't been named yet, and Ada watched her. Let's name her Chioma, she decided. It means good fortune. Emeka nodded, grateful for Ada's willingness to open her heart to the child, and together, they began the process of legally adopting Chioma. Over time, Ada and Emeka found themselves growing closer, their bond strengthened by the challenges they had faced together. Emeka was determined to prove his worth and the fact that he had actually changed and was ready to start a stable and loving family. I know I hurt you, Ada, Emeka said one evening, but I want you to know that I'm here for you and Chioma, now and always. And I have changed. Ada looked into his eyes, seeing the genuine remorse. I want to move forward as well, Emeka, she said, for Chioma's sake and for ours. As Chioma grew, she became the center of Ada and Emeka's world, and they celebrated her milestones from her first steps to her first words. Mama Nkechi, initially skeptical of Ada's ability to raise Chioma, eventually came to accept the child and Ada's role as her mother. One day, as they gathered for a family celebration, Mama Nkechi approached Ada with a tentative smile. You have done well, Ada, she admitted, her voice softening. Chioma is very lucky to have you. Ada nodded, acknowledging the peace that had finally settled within the family. Thank you, Mama. I only want what's best for her. With the past behind them and a brighter future ahead, Ada and Emeka embraced the life they had now built today.